the average cyclist here. Welcome to my video on how to do cycling nutrition on the cheap. I've got a few things on the table here which I want to show you as a few examples and some alternatives what you can eat on and off the bike. I'll quickly run through at a very high level what types of stuff to eat and when. I'll run through some cheap alternatives that I tend to eat while I'm cycling or before or after I'm cycling, which are nice alternatives to some of the more expensive cycling or sport specific energy and recovery products that are available. I'll also give a few tips on how you can get your hands on gels and energy bars at quite a big discount too. I'm not going to go into too much detail around how much to eat or what type of carbs etc. here, because largely, unless you're a pro, it's going to make very little difference. You just need to make sure you've eaten enough. As with this whole channel, it's aimed at average Joe, someone who likes to cycle, keep fit, save a bit of money where they can. That's it. It's not aimed to be any sort of nutrition advice from a nutritionist or for you to build into a race plan if you're really serious. It's just for 90% of people who just want to have a bit of fun on their bike. I'll start with some things you can eat before you're on the bike. So typically this is breakfast if you're having a big day in the saddle, but it might not be. It might just be something that you want to eat so you've got enough energy and you don't bulk when you are out cycling. Typically you want mainly carbs, so some standard things to have. Banana, you can't go wrong with banana, about 100 calories ish in a banana, predominantly carbs, carbohydrates and some more simple sugars in there from the fructose. Cheap, available everywhere. Things I like to have for breakfast as well, these little packets of porridge oats. They're really quick and easy to make. You can get flavoured ones. This one's just a standard one from Morrison's. Cook at the microwave, a bit of milk. This one's a Morn Flake one. It says high protein. It's not high protein. It's got I think 7 grams of protein in there as well. That's chocolate flavoured. What I like to do is, if you're just going to have these original ones, you can put a dollop of jam in there. So if you look on here at the jam, each tablespoon of jam contains 40 calories, 9.2 grams of that is carbohydrate, and of that 7.4 are simple sugars. A packet of these, 2 tablespoons of jam, perfect thing to get you going in the morning. Similarly, toast and jam. Again, each slice is of this white. This is quite a small loaf. Each slice of white bread here is 80 calories. Of that, 15 grams of carbohydrate. Not too much sugar. But if you pair that with the jam there, you've got perfect breakfast there for a cyclist. Absolutely cheap as chips. That whole loaf was 45p. This is £1. You could do a whole loaf there, and also it's super quick. Another alternative thing, you can get these instant oats. These instant oats. This is from MyProtein, and what is in here is effectively really finely ground porridge oats, but they mix really nicely with milk. So what you can do is have a look at the nutrition on here. It's 100 grams is 370 calories, and that's 56 grams of carbohydrate in that. This whole bag I think was £4 for a kilo. 2 scoops is about 60 grams. Mix that with some milk, chuck it in a shaker or in a NutriBullet blender if you're after, and that's another great way to. You can put jam in that as well to give it a bit of flavour. Another really cheap but convenient breakfast there. So mainly carbs there. You can have many variations of that. If you want to put honey on your toast or whatever. Cheap, very cheap, easy, and probably stuff you've already got at home as well. So that's there. When you're on the bike, there are lots of products which you can buy, energy bars and energy gels like this. Never buy these High Five energy bars, by the way. They're just terribly dry and awful. But you can buy lots of things like that on the market. For me, the best energy bar you can get is malt loaf. So this is just your standard Sauri malt loaf. If you have a look at here, on the back of here, 1/7 of a loaf is 78 calories, 16 grams of carbohydrate, and 6 grams of that is simple sugars. A couple of slices of that with a little bit of butter on, wraps up nicely in a little bit of foil, and chuck it in your jersey pocket. That whole loaf is £1, I think. You've got 7 portions in there, 6 if fewer, even if you cut them like I do. Cheap as chips, and it's got the perfect carb makeup to keep you going on the bike. When you're on the bike, you still want mainly carbs, so really cheap alternative. Pick up a couple of these. They usually have quite a good shelf life, a few months, so you can just keep that in the cupboard. Bananas again, really can't go wrong with a banana when you're cycling. And then here I've just got a selection of cereal bars which I found in the cupboard, but any cereal bar really will do, whether it's a Kellogg's Cocoa Pop cereal bar. They've all got a fair amount of carbs and sugar in them. They're absolutely cheap, so cheap. These ones are actually made from nuts predominantly. Don't think these quite as many carbs in, but there's some protein in there as well. We've got a breakdown on this one. These are from Aldi, 5 for £1. These were from Poundland or B&M Home Bargains or something. These were 4 for £1. These are actually some sort of sports one, I think. They've got some extra vitamins in, but any cereal bar you can get, perfect because they're so convenient as well, just to keep in your jersey pocket, and you can just no messing about with those. I'll come back to the gels and bars you can buy in a minute for while you're on the bike. Drinking on the bike, I prefer to eat, so I tend not to have sugar mixes so much. People do recommend just doing half orange juice or apple juice or something, half water, and a little bit of a teaspoon of salt in there. I'm not so keen on that. These hydration tabs will give you all the electrolytes you need, and they are super duper cheap. These from Wiggle they're £3. You get 20 in there, and you can often get them cheaper than that. I'll show you a couple of tips in a minute on where you can get these cheaper. You also get these. These are the high five ones. These come as samples. You often get them at any bike shows or anything. These are handed out, and you get them in bulk packs as well if you're buying gels or bars or anything. I'll come back to some tips on where you can get these in a minute. But these are so cheap, you don't really need an alternative. I have tried the orange juice with a bit of salt in it, but it's not for me. I'd rather have something to eat while I was riding. So I'll come back to those in a minute. And then when you're off the bike, you still need some carbs, but also a bit of protein. Now, usually for me, it's typically just a meal. Meat, 2 veg, whatever you're gonna have at the end of the day after a long ride, you're gonna get the protein and carbs you need. So if you can try to make that sort of align with what time you're getting back, if you've got your missus cooking or whatever. If not, protein shakes are a very cheap and convenient way to get a bit of protein in. This stuff from MyProtein again, it's just their standard impact whey protein. 1 scoop of this is 100 calories, and in there is 20 grams of protein. There's not many carbs in here. You can add carbs, you can add some more of the instant oats to it, to top the carbs up there, to make sure you don't sort of feel absolutely totally shattered after you get home. If I'm making a protein shake like that with milk, I quite often put a bit of peanut butter in and whack it in the blender or NutriBullet or whatever. And of course you can also get protein bars, but they're again they can be a bit more expensive. Science and Sport have this as their recovery product for use immediately after training. If you have a look at the breakdown of what's in here, you can see just here, per 50 grams of powder in here, you get 13 grams of protein and 31 grams of carbohydrate, of which 7 grams is sugar. So that's what that must be the recommendation, which they seem to think is the appropriate breakdown between protein and carbs. This stuff is very expensive. I actually got given this free. I haven't opened it yet. I've never used it. Still sealed. But if that's the sort of breakdown you're looking at, so that was 13 grams and 31 grams of carbohydrate. Essentially, that is 1 scoop of the whey protein and 1 scoop of the instant oats, near enough. So you can make your own expensive Science and Sports recovery shake just using the two cheapest sports supplements you can get, really, Impact Whey and these instant oats. So I'll link to those on the MyProtein website in the description, because that really will just save a bit of cash. If you want a convenient source of protein after your ride, particularly maybe if you're riding in the morning and you get to work, or you need something just sort of, where you can't just have a meal because it's too complicated, you haven't got anywhere to cook or anything. So that's roughly what I like to eat, and how you can do it. You can do it on the cheap. I do, however, still think there is a place for energy gels and energy bars. These are as convenient as you can get with food, with cycling nutrition, cycling food. They're easy. You can eat them in 2 seconds. Rip the top off, squish it out, pop the wrapper in your jersey pocket. They often come with caffeine as well, and things like that. They taste nice, and there's just no faffing around like there might be with trying to take if you don't want to stop, taking your malt loaf or whatever out of your foil, or trying to peel your banana. And this will get absorbed super quick as well into your bloodstream. So in here they say 23 grams of carbs with 30 milligrams of caffeine. And these ones as well, you don't need a drink with these. Obviously it's a little bit bigger, and because it's a bit runnier, it doesn't make you quite as thirsty. If you do try to maybe eat one of these cereal bars, they are a bit dry, and you will need to have a good old drink when you eat them, otherwise it just gets really sort of claggy and all blocked up in your mouth. So in terms of getting things like these gels and energy bars, but not these ones, on the cheap, there are a couple of ways you can do it. A couple of things that I like to do. I'll just So I've gone onto eBay here, and as you can see, I've just searched for energy bars short date, or you can search for short dated, and you see there's a variety of things here. So these are protein bars, but they're short date. There's lots of bargains to be had here. With most of these things, bars, if they're slightly out of date, or the gels, even if they're really out of date, it doesn't really matter. Particularly with the gels, it's just sugar syrup. It's maltodextrin or dextrose, and you can really save yourself quite a bit of cash on here. If I just look for energy gels, short date, here we go. So there's some 10 OTE,
Caffeine gels, short dated clearance, £7, including delivery. Typically for a gel, especially if you bought it in a bike shop, you wouldn't get it under £1. So look at this one here: 15 SIS Power Bar gels, assorted flavours, SIS and Power Bar, Energized. These are like processed bars. Some other gels, and it looks like an energy drink mix. £7, free delivery for 15 items. That's pretty good going. You're probably not going to find anything cheaper than that. Always just keep an eye on eBay, and you could set up a reminder for the search if you like to get an email notification or the app to let you know when somebody's posted some more stuff like this. You can search short dated or out of date as well. If you're in the UK, this website, Discount Supplements, is very good. At the moment here they've got these Easy Fuel Hydro tabs. Never used them. Dated till June, buy one get one free. So that's 40 tabs for £3. That's very good. They do have gels on here from time to time as well. It's just potluck what they've got in stock. So that really good site actually for all things. If you're after protein powder or whatever, there's lots of stuff on here. I'll put a link to it in the description. The hydration tabs that I had at the beginning of the video, they're only £3 at full price for a tube of 20 at Wiggle, and with platinum discount here, I've got them for £2.63. The blackcurrant ones are very, very nice. The orange ones are alright, and the lemon ones are alright. I haven't tried the strawberry. £3, you can't go wrong. And with Wiggle, you've only got to spend a tenner to get free delivery. So highly recommend those. Another little tip as well: when you need a new water bottle, which for me is quite regularly, I seem to get through a few of these a year. I always buy these high five ones. Bottle's alright, and you get a mix of stuff thrown in. £4, including, usually you get a couple of tabs, one drink mix, a couple of gels, different gels, some of the isotonic ones which you don't need so much water with, and then maybe a 4-in-1 energy mix. It is potluck. You get what you're given there, but for £4, very good. You can't really beat that. Couple of these and a couple of tubes of those, it's going to cost you under £15, and it should keep you going for a fair few weeks of riding, or if you've got a race. This should provide you what you need pretty much for a race or sporty, but at least to get you going. These little ones in individual packets are quite handy just to chuck in your jersey pocket if you're out for a long day. If you're out for 80-100 miles, you're going to be out for a few hours. When you top up your water at the pub, just handy to have those in your back pocket. So there's a few tips there to get some of the sort of specifically designed sports nutrition stuff on the cheap. And I hope some of the alternatives, which you probably already got in your cupboard, were useful as well. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this or product reviews. I intend to upload one video a week-ish, depending on what I think's useful, or any new products or nutritional tips or hints or tips about cycling that I found. So please subscribe, leave any comments below if you've got any questions, and thanks for listening.